So if you have your note booklet, your pink note booklet, this is the notes for 7.3. If you don't have your pink note booklet, you can print a blank copy of this out on Schoology and then fill this in as we go. So 7.3 is on special products, and it's the same process as you did before in the multiplication. You can still use FOIL, you can use that vertical method to multiply, you can use the that box if you want to go through and multiply. But these are special cases. There's little shortcuts for it. I'm going to teach you sort of the nuts and bolts, what you have to do in order to multiply these things. So if you look at your square in a binomial, what this means is if you have x plus 7 with this square, the first thing you're going to do is rewrite this 2 times because it's squared. And then we're just going to go back and use FOIL just like we did in the first section there. So first times first would be x squared. Outer times outer will be 7 times x. Inner times inner is 7 times x. Last times last is 49. And then again, combine your like terms just like we did in the last section. Right? If you have something like this one where we have a minus in between, same thing, rewrite it twice. And then FOIL, first times first would be x squared. Outer times outer is minus 5x. Inner times inner is minus 5x. Last times last is plus 25. Negative 5 times negative 5. And again, combine those like terms. You're set. If you have variables for both of the first term and the second term, it's fine, works the same way. So rewrite this twice. First times first, 3m times 3m is going to be 9m squared. Outer times outer is going to be 3mn. Inner times inner, I would write it in alphabetical order and put the number part first. So 3mn again, and last times last is plus n squared. And then combine those like terms, and you're set. Now, if you notice with these, the part that makes these things different is this middle term ends up being the same number for all of these, right? So that's what makes these special. But like I said, the process is exactly the same. So 2x plus 3y, we'll rewrite that twice since it's squared. And then first times first, 4x squared. Outer times outer, the 2 times the 3 will give you 6 xy. Inner times inner is 6 xy. Last times last, 9y squared. And again, combine those middle terms, and you're set. All right, so now here's 4 for you to go through and try. So pause the video, go through and try these 4, and then you can hit play, to sort of check your answers there. Remember to rewrite twice. First times first will be a squared. Outer times outer is 3a. Inner times inner, 3a. Last times last is 9. And then combine those like terms. First times first, outer times outer, inner times inner, last times last. Rewrite twice. First times first will give you positive 4x squared. Outer will give you minus 2x. Inner is minus 2x. Last times last is 1. And again, combining those like terms. Oops. That's just regular old 4x there. And then the last one, we'll write twice. C squared. Outer is plus 4c. Inner is plus 4c. Last is plus 16. There we go. All right. So that's the first type of special products. The next type, now it's called difference of two squares. You don't have to remember that. There's a pattern to it. If you start to recognize the pattern, that's great. If not, you don't have to worry about it. Just FOIL, just like you did before. So let's see, if we go to first times first will give us x squared. Outer times outer gives you minus 5x. Inner times inner gives you plus 5x. Last times last gives you minus 25. For these problems, you're going to notice that this middle term is always going to be opposites, and it'll end up canceling out. So minus 5x plus 5x will cancel. And that's going to be the same for all of these. Remember in the last video we talked about these being conjugates. And I said you don't have to remember that term, but what that means is the binomial looks exactly the same except for one has a plus and one has a minus in it. So that's what's going to happen for it. So first times first will be 4x squared. Outer times outer is minus 2x. Inner times inner is plus 2x. Last times last is minus 1. Again, those middle terms cancel out. You're left with a binomial for your answer when you multiply. Let's skip down. We'll go to the you try. So if you want to pause the video, you can pause the video and try these four, and then you can start it back up and you'll have the solutions here. All right, so we're going to do these then. So first times first will be j squared. Outer is minus 4j. Inner is plus 4j. Last is minus 16. So j squared minus 16. Those middle terms cancel out. This one will be 3x times 3x, 9x squared. Outer is plus 15x. Inner is minus 15x. Last is minus 25. All right, and 15x's cancel again. This one, x times x, x squared, minus 2xy, plus 2xy, and minus 4y squared. Xy's cancel, so x squared minus 4y squared. And finally the last one here, so 8 times 8 is 64, minus 8x, plus 8x. Last times last is minus x squared. Minus 8x plus 8x cancels out. X squared, 64 minus x squared. All right, and then the last page is just sort of a mix of some of these here. Maybe we'll just pick one or two of these out to go through and do it. Like I said, it's FOIL. It's the same process over and over again. So let's look at some of the harder ones. How about number 4, because it's fractions, which is probably freaking out a little bit. All right, so first times first is going to be 36a squared. Outer times outer, so you have 6a times negative 1/2 b. All right, so start with the number part. 6a times negative 1/2 is going to give you negative 3, and then a times b will just be ab. Inner times inner, so now you have 1/2 b times 6a. So we do the same thing again, 1/2 times 6, that's going to be plus 3, and then you have a b times an a, we're at ab. And then last times last, let's put this one, let's put this one up here. So you have 1/2 b times negative 1/2 b. So 1/2 times negative 1/2 is negative 1/4, top times top, bottom times bottom. B times b is b squared. All right, so these three ab's are opposites. They cancel out, so we have 36a squared minus 1/4 b squared. All right, and if you look at, look at number 8. It's another one that's maybe looks a little tricky. So again, it has the square, so that was the first special type of binomials that we multiplied. So it just means write them out twice. Let me just slide this over a little bit. I have to keep checking here, make sure I'm on screen. First times first will give you 16c squared. Outer times outer, negative 20. B times c, I usually write it alphabetically. Inner times inner would be minus 20 BC. And then last times last, 5 times 5 will give us 25, and b times b is b squared. All right, so 16c squared. Now be careful, these aren't opposites. Negative 20 plus negative 20 is negative 40. And then 25b squared. All right, so now your homework then for this is going to be two of the math IXLs. I forget which numbers they are, but it's posted on Schoology, so make sure you're looking on Schoology. It'll tell you which of the two to go through and do. And you know, if you get them wrong, make sure you read what IXL is telling you to do to correct that mistake there.